and I'm going to start off with showing you how to clean the scallops. From your fishmonger, ask for the biggest ones. Always look for the freshest. Make sure that they're nice and white. Make sure that they look nice and big, plump, fresh. Smell them if you like, because you want to make sure that you get home the absolute best of the best. These are gorgeous, they're large. And I'm going to just start with taking off a little bit of the sinews. So these scallops, they're stuck in their shell, and there's always going to be a little bit of extra on the side. That is not really delicious, and we want to be peeling that off. I'll just do it very gently, because these are delicate. The scallops, they can easily break, which is not exactly what we want. We really want to make sure that we keep them whole, so they're going to be beautiful in the pan. They won't lose their juices whilst you sear them. Very gently. Make sure that we keep all the beautiful bits intact. There's going to be a little bit of brown stuff on the sides. That's what got stuck to the shell. We don't really want that. There's a bit on the side we want to take off. You just stay with the absolute prime. That gorgeous, gorgeous muscle from the scallops. These are beautiful and clean. No need really to rinse or to wash. But we do want to dry them up, that before they hit the pan, they're beautiful and dry, and we'll season them with a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt. Just 1 or 2 sheets, don't need much. And we'll lay that out and put your scallops on top. Little tissue on top. Make sure that all that moisture is gone. It's going to be really important for when it hits the pan, because when we're going to be searing, the more moisture there is, the more it will caramelize, and you will get things in the pan that you don't really want that can burn easily. To get a perfectly seared scallop, they need to be nice and dry with a very thin coat of oil, just a little bit of salt, and a really hot pan, and that's going to make all the difference. And that's really what I'm trying to teach you. What I would try to say is everybody can put a scallop in the pan. Everybody can whack a bit of salt and a bit of pepper. But where it comes is to that little detail, to make sure that you really take care of those scallops before. Make sure that you really take care when they go in the pan. And then you're going to have the best result. They're going to be gorgeous and crunchy. They're going to be really nice and brown. They'll have that flavor of roasted scallop, which you will smell in the room. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So we have all 6 of them, nice and dry. And then it's time to go and put on the seasoning. So we're going to use some oil, a little bit of salt. I'm not going to put the pepper yet, because the pepper is going to burn in the pan, because we use quite a high heat and we don't want that pepper to burn and become black. It will lose all its aroma and all its flavor. So we'll season first with a bit of salt in the oil, then we're going to add our black pepper at the end when the scallops are already done. So you do have that flavor and that delicious pepper aroma coming through, but it's not going to burn or look ugly in the pan. We want that pan to be hot. I have a really thick bottomed cast iron skillet, but I would recommend any type of non-stick pan that you have at home. Always thick bottoms, because you want to make sure that that heat retains. Once you put a cold scallop in the pan, the heat can reduce and it can start to cook the scallops in the pan, and that is something that we really don't want. Searing is about high temperature, getting that scallop in, and then let it sizzle in a tiny bit of oil, and it's going to become a beautiful caramelized crunch on the top, which is really going to bring out all that beautiful sea flavor, and that is what's going to make the difference when you do the searing. I'm not using any butter in this case. I find that the butter in the vinaigrette has already that butteriness that we'll be looking for. So we're searing them just with a little bit of oil. It's a sprinkle. We don't need much. And I'm going to use a tiny bit of fine salt. Very precise. One of the things I find super important with cooking anything, from a salad to a steak to a piece of fish, is that when it comes to the seasoning, again, you have to make sure that you pay attention. You have to do it precise. Every little bit has to be coated with the tiniest amount of salt. We don't want lots of salt on one part and then the rest to be under-seasoned. It has to go carefully, precise, not too much, but just enough to make sure that you're going to bring out all the flavors from those scallops. Here, our pan, very nice, very hot. And we're going to be adding the scallops. Give them just a little swoosh around in the oil. Make sure that everything is evenly coated. The salt is evenly spread. The oil is on all the sides, bit on the bottom, bit on the top, even the sides. It's caring for it. It's caring for the scallops, making sure that you have those details right. It's a simple dish. There's a few ingredients only here on the bench, but we want to make sure that we treat them with respect. We want to make sure that we cook them to perfection. And when they hit the pan, you can feel it, it's searing. You right away smell it. The pan is at the right temperature, it's boiling hot. We'll have a clean tray prepared, so when they come out of the pan, they can go onto a clean tray, they can leave to rest there. And then we're going to be checking. I want to check if that caramelization is going through nicely. We just need another minute, tiny bit more. Have the patience. I think it cooks about 3/4 on the first side, and that is something that I very often do with seafood, with fish. If you're doing on a skin side, then you want to be cooking for a long time, so you get a really nice crunch. You turn them over and that heat will come up from the bottom. It will cook to perfection. The middle will be just right, and you will end up with a nice caramelization, a crunch on the top, which is going to give all that flavor and what's really going to make these scallops stand out from the crowd. There they go. Incredibly nice roast. It is nice and brown. It's not burnt and not black. There they go. Turn them all over. We can reduce the heat. It only needs to bring in that warmth from the bottom to cook it down into the center until they're perfectly done. When I feel they're there, I'll just move them over to the tray. They can have a little rest. Sometimes a little bit of liquid come out. We don't want that to end up on our plate. It will spoil the plate. This will absorb those juices that flow out, and then after we'll be ready for the plating. I'm be taking the scallops out of the pan very gently. Don't want to break them. Want to make sure that they stay in tip-top shape. They are gorgeous like that. Quick hit with the pepper mill. Just a tiny touch.